What's up, guys? David with Miracle Canine Training. We're out here with Nalo. Nalo is a brand new board and train that just got dropped off. You guys saw the intake footage of him. Wild, super reactive, massive, massive puller on the walk. He knocked over his owner recently, him with his sister. She broke her arm because of how badly he pulls and reacts at other dogs. He knocked over his owner's mother. Same deal, pulling, reacting at other dogs, caused her to break a rib. So this pulling is out of control. We got to get it situated quick. Obviously, he's a real handful, even for basic potty runs and stuff like that. And this is going to be the very first leash training session we have ever done with this dog. We have not done any obedience training. We've not introduced any training tools or anything with him. The only thing we've done so far is socialization with him, which obviously we posted already the video of that. I've already got him fitted up with a prong collar. We have not used it yet. The leash is not attached to it or anything. So what I want to do first here is we're just going to kind of go for a quick little walk with him on his flat collar, see where he's at as a baseline with the leash pulling, and then I will show you guys how we go about stopping it. So you can see, obviously, I'm fully leaning into that leash there, right? Just kind of does what he wants to do. Like, we haven't even seen any triggers yet, but you see, when he commits to something, I mean, that's me pulling just about as hard as I could possibly pull. And we haven't seen anything yet, right? So you can see with the dog, I mean, he's a big dog, obviously, how this can be extremely dangerous, especially when you're tacking on. They have two dogs. Obviously, you want to be able to walk both your dogs at the same time, but when you have dogs that are just so programmed to pull towards anything they want to do, get to whatever it is that they want to get to with zero regard for the handler, we've got to make sure we get that under control for safety purposes here. So we're going to go ahead in a second here. We're going to go ahead and clip him up to this pinch collar, and I'm going to show you how we're going to go about working through some of this. What we're going to do here is we are going to have a two-part process of teaching these leash skills. So stage number one is utilizing negative reinforcement or pressure and release in order to show him what the pinch collar means, in order to show him how to turn off the pressure and start to shape the expectation. From there, we're going to transition to a leash pop. So we'll be using an actual correction or positive punishment in order to deter the actual pulling. And in conjunction with those two methods, I'm going to be doing a 180 drill where basically I'll be walking, and as I lose attention, I'll be making that shift not only to have an opportunity to give the leash pressure, but to help then refocus him back onto us. So essentially giving like a correction with some direction. So I'm going to go ahead and clip him up onto his pinch collar now, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so we're clipped up here. So again, I'm going to start walking here. As I'm walking, if I lose him, I'm turning, applying pressure, releasing pressure when he turns with me. Applying pressure, releasing pressure when he turns with me. And I'm going to repeat that process here a bunch of times. Again, pressure, release. So I'm teaching him that pressure turns off when that attention shifts towards me. Now, intensity of the pressure, right now we're kind of varying based on how he's responding. Some dogs you'll notice initially are really sensitive to it, and just the minimal amount of pressure on that pinch collar, you'll get them turning and shifting towards you or trying to figure out a way to escape it. Other dogs, you need to use a little bit more. With him, I would say it's somewhere in the middle. But the importance here is the off switch for the pressure. So you'll notice as I make that turn, pressure turns on, and the second he gives way to it, I'm actively releasing the pressure on that leash. We're just gonna keep repeating this here for the first couple minutes until he starts to give me a little bit more attention and understand the game. Now, additionally, we're not worried about a heel or anything like that. Right now, the drill is much more about his understanding of the leash, and then in addition to that, it's about him giving me good attention and being mindful of the handler. So as you see, as we're doing this, through repetitions, I'm starting to get really good engagement from him, not needing to make as many turns because he's being more mindful of me, which is starting to tell me he's understanding the drill, he's understanding what the expectation of him in this moment is. And this is elapsed time, just a couple of minutes so far, and you see how much progress we're starting to make. Very good. Very, very good. So now you guys hear me talk a lot about when we start approaching this stage in things, a lot of times we want to very quickly move on to the next thing, make it harder, make it harder, make it harder. What I want to do right now is I want to keep drilling this for a little bit and allow him to start to be successful, because now that he's learned how to avoid or escape that pressure, we're allowing him to solidify in his mind exactly what the expectation is in order to avoid that, which will start to increase his confidence in the thing that we're asking him to do. You see how that pressure is able to redirect him now that we're teaching it. You obviously saw a plastic bag flying by up there, started getting a little fixated on it. We have a dog here. This is gonna be the first place I implement a correction. So as he fixates, I'm timing that correction perfectly where when he loses focus on me, I'm able to shift that attention back on because I've taught the expectation already. So same deal as we're walking up, approaching the dog. Notice on that turn, what does he do? He shifts his attention right on to me. Beautiful. Same deal, walking towards the dog. Turning, good job, buddy. Shifting that attention right on to me. gonna try to pull again on those types of things. I always tell everybody, like, anything the dogs used to do prior to coming here, they're gonna try to do it again, because they have associations of all of this stuff with you guys, with the home, with all of that, right? So I just want to make sure she's not in any sort of position where she's going to potentially get re-injured or anything, you know, from the standpoint of even like this, like if they pull, like that's a lot of strain on my wrist. We're going to see what we get with the social. You see a lot of you people out there have dogs with reactivity issues, have dogs that are massive pullers, and this is a case in point example of what 90% of the people out there struggle with their dog. And you see that in literally less than 10 minutes, you could have massive progress with this kind of stuff with the right approach. But you have to understand exactly how your dog learns, and you have to understand how to leverage the amount of pressure that you're implementing. Good job, buddy. Good job. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna move to the second stage, which is formally adding the correction. And obviously we did right at the end there because we wound up seeing a dog, so it was a great opportunity of where we would start to shift to a correction. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this into an actual walk. So I'm gonna start layering in my command for it now that I have the expectation taught nicely, which is gonna be come. Obviously, in our case, come means come with us and stay with us. It's kind of like our heel position. But the expectation is they just have to stay in our bubble and they have to keep their attention on us. And I'm going to be implementing that 180 turn with an actual leash pop as opposed to the continuous pressure for lack of attention. And what we're going to do is we're going to see what we get as we cruise around, as we see other distractions, and go from there. Now, it's important to understand that the reason why that pop was so effective that I gave when he saw the other dog was because we taught what the pressure was. We taught him how to turn it off, and we taught him how to shift his attention back onto us at the beginning, obviously. So when he got an actual correction for it, it was understood exactly what he needed to do. It was just at a higher intensity. So what we're going to do, come. So we're going to start cruising. It's very important, you'll notice, I'm super loose on my leash right now, right? That's important because we want to put him in a position where he can make the decision to either be successful and do it correctly or make the mistake. A lot of people early on will hold the leash very, very tight and they'll stop the dog from going ahead constantly. And what that does is that it never allows the dog to learn where exactly that boundary is because we're preventing them from ever crossing the boundary. Oof. Yeah, this one's almost worse than the other.